It's important. It's essential. It's something that 90% of competitive video game players seem to lack. Based on the title of this YouTube video, you probably know what I'm going to say next. Yep, it's Gamesense. Probably the only thing that most players are lacking when it comes to skill in video games. Having good Gamesense nowadays is one of the only ways to set yourself apart from the tidal wave of DM lords in modern day shooters. Now, I'm not trying to say I have particularly good Gamesense, but I have been making some improvements recently, and I'd like to share my methods with anyone willing to listen. Before we start though, I'd like to sort of lay down a foundation for this video by giving my personal definition of what Gamesense really is, because it seems to vary from person to person from what I've experienced. In my honest opinion, having good Gamesense is best described as knowing everything there is to know about your game. And I mean everything. I'm not just talking about arbitrary shit like health pack or respawn timers. I'm talking about even like metaphysical things like how a class is or should be played, how that class will be positioned, how they will react to certain things, how they move, everything. If you know all of these things, you'll be able to make certain predictions based on things like number or uber disadvantages or advantages. Like, for instance, the other team won't push when they have 2 dead players, and they will hold passively if they're at an uber disadvantage. Stuff like that. If you can make accurate predictions on how the enemy will move and position themselves, you can make effective strategies on how to counter these things. This is Gamesense, the ability to assess a situation, make predictions, and come up with effective strategies for any situation you come across. Now, how do you acquire better Gamesense? Simple. Just play the game. That's actually it. It's honestly insane that more players haven't developed good Gamesense, but I think that is because many players would prefer to spend more time in MGE practicing their DM, but that's beside the point. What I mean by playing the game is just that. You need to play the game, find out common strategies that players use, play every single class to get a feel for that class, enough to say to your team, yeah, I could play this class competitively if I wanted to, even the ones you hate. Because once you have a good understanding of how every class is played, you'll also have a good understanding of how other players will play those classes, allowing you to make predictions about things like positioning, what class is weak to what class, how that class will deal with certain classes, stuff like that. There's a lot you can learn just by playing a class extensively. Another thing you should be doing during matches is questioning everything, and I mean everything. This is how you gain information, even if it is mostly assumptions. Using this information allows you to reach conclusions about where the enemy team will be holding or pushing from. As an example, let's say the other team is pushing into Gully Wash second from mid. Your team lost your medic and your roaming soldier during the mid fight. You now have enough information to infer that they will push from big door rather than choke. If you didn't quite follow that, here's my line of thought on this situation. Your medic died at mid, meaning your team doesn't have an uber charge, while their team does. If they uber into you, you will be defenseless. You also lost your roaming soldier, meaning your flank is weak. Typically on Gully Wash, the flank plays in big door, meaning the enemy team knows that your team is weakest near big door, where you'll probably only have one scout playing rather passively. I mean, that was just a single situation, and kind of an unrealistic one at that. Like, why would your team be holding aggressively on an uber disadvantage while you're down 2 players? I mean, besides that, this is just an example of assessing a situation, questioning what the enemy team will be trying to do, and reaching a conclusion based on that. Now, like everything else in high-level video games, good Gamesense only comes with effort and self-evaluation. If after every game you aren't looking back on that game and asking yourself, what did I do wrong, or what could I have done better, then you need to start doing that. And this isn't just for Gamesense, but every facet of your play, in TF2 and every other game ever created on this fucking planet. If you can find the problems in the way you play the game and eliminate those, you're on the fast track to becoming much better at everything. Gamesense is an extremely important aspect of playing TF2, if not the most important in TF2's strategy-oriented gameplay. Alright, I think that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this in the future, leave a thumbs up or a comment saying what you'd like to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.